Okay, and so the final thing that I wanted to talk about was Zaps. So these are the things that we put in the Slack channel. I've kind of come to realize that Zaps are not always having the optimum effect. A lot of the time they are good. That's great, but there's instances where they're not valuable, and it's possibly like a documentation or a communication issue on our side. We should get that resolved. But just to kind of clarify with Zaps, the intent is not that they're like a log of every task that you perform in the day. Like, we trust that you're good developers, you do good work, and like, we recognize that the tasks you complete in your day are more than just the Zaps that you create. So like, it's not just a log of everything you've done. So just try and remember that. Here we go. So just to kind of reiterate, the point of the Zaps is to communicate high value information really quickly, succinctly and asynchronously to all members of the team. And so what I've done here is I've kind of prepared some synthetic examples, but they're based on actual Zaps that I've kind of observed, that I think we can kind of improve on, and will hopefully kind of demonstrate the issues, and we can maybe make them more valuable on the whole for everybody. All right, so here they come. This Zap reviewed some PRs. Right. This is just unnecessary. Like, you can just leave this out. Like, you don't need to tell us this. We should all be kind of reviewing PRs for each other continuously. It's very little value for the whole team to be told that you reviewed some PRs. So you can just leave that one out. This one is better, like reviewed link to the pull request. It's better because it has that link, but it's still kind of unnecessary. There's not a lot of value for the whole team to know that you reviewed a pull request. And there's like sometimes exceptions to this, but on the whole, I think this kind of Zap is unnecessary. It's maybe beneficial for the person who authored the pull request to know that you've reviewed it, but if they're actually waiting for you to tell them, then you can just message them directly. Like, all of us don't need to know that information. Fixed a regression. That's rad. That's great, but there's just not enough detail here. We need like a short description of what the regression is, and ideally like a link to the pull request where it was fixed, so that we can go and check it out if we want to. This one. Did it change for you? Yeah. Okay. So this one's just too verbose. It's too much preamble. Like, you can boil that down to, like, I wrote a script that counts the number of words in a file and a link to that script. Just try and keep it nice and succinct and to the point, so that I don't have to like spend hours reading and figure out what exactly the thing is. It's just takes up too much space, and yeah, to the point. Attended lots of meetings is another Zap that is not required, basically, unless it's an important meeting with an outcome that needs to be communicated to the whole team. Then we just don't need to know about this. If you are going to Zap about a meeting that is a meeting that you need to communicate that information to everyone about, then you want to say something like, I went to a meeting about X with like me, Dave and Paul, and we decided Y, right? So you've got like the subject of the meeting, who was there, and what the outcome actually was. And you probably want to write down the outcome of that meeting in a document somewhere that can be referenced in the future. I think we kind of don't do enough of this. Like, we have synchronous meetings and things get decided, but we don't then write it down enough. So there we go. This one is rad. This is basically great. I love this, but the context part of it, the bullet points, they can just be like moved to a thread. It just makes it a bit like less cool in the chat, and a bit easier to kind of scan through and pick out the Zaps. This one is rad. But just make sure you use the kind of the ship emoji when you're shipping something, so that we can pick out the bits that are actually finished and shipped to production. This one again, made deployments are deployed lots of times. It's unnecessary because it should have been like communicated at the time it happened using the siren, and it's on that point, if you have done deployments, what I think I'll add to the team norms doc, if people agree, is that it's actually really useful to know like what got deployed, like a really short description, like this fixes a bug that is bad, or that stops users from logging in or whatever. Just a reason why things were deployed is super helpful. And then finally, with all Zaps, there's almost always a link associated with your Zap that you're writing. So please try and include the link wherever possible. If you do nothing else with your Zaps from today, then please just remember to do that, because adding a link will give others a bit more context on what it is anyway. But in general, before you Zap, just take a second to think about the value it's generating for the whole team. And that is all I wanted to talk about.